XSL style sheet section. And oftentimes you'll find that some things are, like, for example, there's a TOC XSL style sheet, which is a table of contents XSL style sheet, and then there's a table of contents 1.0 style sheet. And I think both the components from both, if I remember correctly, were referenced in the transformation. So making sure that multiple style sheets are modified and configured is important, even if they appear to be, one appears to be responsible for implementing the transformation. It's possible that there are multiple style sheets responsible for implementing one transformation. So it's important to just make sure, and then the best practice is to include all of these configurations not within the core original version of the XSL style sheets, but within a custom style sheet that's included in a separate directory. So I know this is a lot of information, and again, I'm just sort of providing you with an overview. So the final thing is that there are some things that appear to not be configured from the XSL style sheets that are related to the look and feel of the PDF. For example, the miniature table of contents can be included at the beginning of each chapter of a PDF, and that's by default turned on. So I turn that off in the PDF transformation scenario, and the transformation scenario is not an XSL style sheet. It's something that's included in the XML editor that I used, and it's also that transformation scenario I found in both Arbortext and in Oxygen, so I'm assuming that it's always outside of what's included with the Open Data Toolkit, and the only way to modify, for example, this miniature table of contents so that it doesn't get printed with the chapter is to do so within that transformation scenario. So once I did all of that, then I was able to come up with the PDF. And as you can see, the custom look and feel is quite different from how it was with the default DITA transformation or XSL transformation. There's a chapter number at the very top. The links are not replicated. The only links that are included in the related links section now are not links that were up at the top. And then also the page number you see is missing from the top as well. It's not really missing, it's just that I've set it up so that the first page of a chapter doesn't include a page number. So if we were to go on to, for example, page 2, it would show on the next page, page 2, rather than page 4, because it no longer begins incrementing page numbers in the table of contents, but rather with the first page of the first chapter. Now on to the transformation from DITA to Webhelp. This is an example from the Oxygen XML website. Unfortunately, I didn't save a copy of the default Webhelp output, but this is a good example. This is pretty close. And it shows that there isn't really much information about the company that produced the documentation here, or the nonprofit. I don't know. This is a Wikipedia. It looks like, actually it says from Wikipedia, so I don't know if this is supposed to be a Wikipedia, like a Webhelp version of Wikipedia, or not. But in any case, I want to include more branding information so that this is more consistent with a PDF version of the documentation that I came out with. And I also don't want to have some of the things that you see at the bottom, like Webhelp output generated by Oxygen XML author. I want to get rid of that. And I also want to include just a little bit more graphics information, different formatting for the pictures. I wanted them pictures to be centered. So I'm going to sort of explain how I went through all of that. Hopefully not for too long, but just to give you sort of an understanding of how long it took to accomplish that. So one of the first things that makes this transformation different from the PDF transformation is that there are both XSL and CSS files that are used to have an impact on the format of the content. There are CSS files for the table of contents, which shows up on the left side of Webhelp, and there's CSS files for the body of the help, which shows up on the right side of the content. And then there's also a frame set which there's CSS for that as well. And just like with the PDF, there's also a common images directory, and the common images to update or to change those so that they're consistent with what I'm using in the PDF. Then I need to point, using XSL, I need to point the XSL to those, the style sheet to those images. There's also shared text, for example, previous, next. When you're moving from topic to topic, there's links to, you can click on next to go to the next topic. Stuff like that are all, they're stored in XML files actually, and those can be updated. And then finally, there's an XML to HTML XSL style sheet, which is a little different from the PDF. And in that file, or XSL style sheet, I guess it would be the more correct word, I can actually modify the positioning of the different DITA elements, just like with the PDF. And I can also choose whether to display certain elements, like navigational elements, which I chose not to display in this case, because I'm going to use a frame set, the parent frame set, instead to display those. So I was able to modify those as well. And in the Webhelp transformation scenario, which is, again, if you remember from the PDF transformation scenario, that's separate from the XSL style sheets. That's something that's within the XML editor itself. I was able to add a running header and footer that was automatically included with each of the topics that are generated, each of the HTML topics, so that now at the bottom of every topic there is a link to the PDF and EPUB version of the documentation, which can be very helpful for users if they want to have like a copy that can be accessed from different devices or offline. And then finally, after I ran the transformation, I also needed to update the dimensions of the frame set, because the dimensions of the frame set are not to my liking. And then I also wanted to add some branding information in the parent frame that contains the Webhelp, so that the reader never loses a sense of the context within which they're retrieving the information. So as you can see, voila, here is the final product, and it looks quite different from the default look and feel of Webhelp. There's, obviously different size fonts are used, and there's a graphic that's included at the top in the header. And then there's also, in the frame set, the parent frame set, there's also links to my website and to the home page, which makes it, I feel like, a little bit more I sense that this is probably going to be more helpful for end users. And in the links, as you can see, like I said, there's links to the PDF or the EPUB version of the content. So as you can see, this can be quite intensive, like actually customizing the documentation. But it only needs to be done once. And then moving forward, writers can focus on the content rather than the format. And that's a big improvement over, say, Word or FrameMaker, where it often is the case that the formatting continually needs to be revisited, and there's never it's a never-ending chore, like making sure that formatting is working correctly whenever a new document or revisions to existing documentation takes place. This basically does away with that. And because it's written in open source XML, XSL, and Java, you can write Apache scripts or cron jobs that automate the building of the files, and this can all be done for free, or basically you're just paying a developer to do it, or a technical content developer to do it, and then that's that. And you don't have to you can automate that aspect of it, and so again, more time can be focused on the content rather than formatting and publishing. So this is all, I think, these are good arguments for using XSL and DITA, or DocBook, but probably DITA if you want a single source. And I hope that this has been insightful for you. And please do visit the links on the YouTube video, or go to my website at danielloftus.com for further details about how I implemented this. Thank you so much.